meeting for call roll, please.
Barber.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Lilligren.
Here.
Muse.
Here.
Ferguson.
Here.
Thank you.
So this is under our COVID protocol as government has declared the emergency order S01 done in a remote manner. If people would like to participate in the meeting, they can us at public.mec.state.us and we'll respond to your comments timely. Are there any updates to the agenda, changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, if I may, your voice, your sound seems to be breaking in and out, so it's hard to
Hold on one sec.
Can everybody mute, please? Thank you.
Whoever just called in, is one was.
Mr. Chair, it appears that your microphone has been muted.
Can people hear me now?
Yes.
All right. We will do this the old-fashioned way. Does that sound better?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, are there any changes to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, can we get a motion to approve the minutes of our December 9th meeting?
Moved by Lee.
Second by Gonzalez.
Are there any discussions, changes? All right, hearing none, can we call the roll, please?
Barber.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Lilligren.
Aye.
Muse.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Thank you.
The motion carries. The first business item that we have, and the only business item we have, is 2021-9, labor agreement with the Transit Managers and Supervisors Association. Marcy?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and council members. As you know, During the fall, we were in contract negotiations with TMSA, that is our Transit Managers and Supervisors Association, a bargaining unit of about 300 people. Their contract expired on December 31. We reached a tentative agreement with the union on December 8th, which was ratified by their full membership on December 18th. The agreement focuses on economics. The duration of the agreement is for 1 year, and the settlement includes a regular step movement of 2.5% for all employees that meet expectations on their performance evaluations, for those that are still in the step range anyway. And a one-time payment of $1,500 per person. And I should note that that is on average. The union requested and we agreed to provide some flexibility on how that $1,500 or that compensation was distributed. So employees that are receiving a step increase in 2021 are going to take a smaller amount of the overall lump sum amount. We also received a request from the union to allocate the funds and award some small bonuses that depended on attendance during the early weeks of the pandemic. And we agreed to that proposal from the union as well. But again, it does fall within that original authority of a value of $1,500 per person on average. We were, really pleased that, despite our conservative offerings on the economic side, I think that negotiations ended on a very positive note. We also have a settlement that we think supports two of the Thrive Lens principles. First, that of stewardship. It's a settlement that falls well within the financial parameters established by the council last year for bargaining costs, and also prosperity, despite our current financial condition, our economic situation. We think this agreement represents a fair and reasonable settlement and demonstrates our commitment to our employees. So the request for proposed action today is authorization that the regional administrator enter into an agreement with the Transit Managers and Supervisors Association effective for the period January 1, 2021, 2021. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions on business item 2021-9? All right, seeing none, can we call the roll? Actually, can we get a motion to approve business item 2021-9?
Moses moving.
Is there a second?
Second by Barber.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? All right, seeing none, can we call the roll, please?
Barber.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Johnson. Oh, sorry. Lee.
Aye.
Lilligren.
Aye.
Muse.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I missed who made the motion.
Muse.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was our only business item for the day. Our first information item is our 2021 work plan.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. Mary Bogie is not with us today, so I will be filling in and just asking the question if she was here. Attached to the agenda is the 2021 work plan. It's the straw man person agenda work plan for the management committee. It has things that you see normally in budget amendments. We had a fair amount in 2020. We hope to decrease some of those as we go into 2021. And some of the financial review And we see things like procurement, you'll see OEO reports, and really opening it up for discussion above what we would normally present. If there was something that we should be putting in on the agenda, uh, discussion has been around maybe some of the RA change teams, some quarterly reports there, looking at some equity results when we decide on that $3.9 million for advancing the equity in the region. And just, like I said, opening this up for discussion of what you'd like to see um, from us to you in 2021.
Are there any items that council members would like to make sure we add to the agenda? Councilmember Barber.
It's actually on here, but I'd like to maybe see an expanded thing. So the continuity of operations. So this was the first time we've really had to kind of unleash that entire plan was for COVID. And I think it would be a good idea to maybe look at that in a little more detail, see what worked, what didn't work. This was certainly the broadest application that we've had to use of it to date, and would be a good idea to look at.
Absolutely. We are,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chair, we are, obviously still executing on a daily basis, and it's becoming probably blurrier as we move forward, what has become our new normal versus what is really off of the COOP plan. And we are compiling lessons learned as we've moved along, and that's a really good idea to present to you.
Anything else from council members on the plan?
Mr. Chair, if I may, just looking at the on the procurement item under human resources, on the NCUBE initiative and goals, I'm assuming that this particular item is going to be more fleshed out and there's going to be more details as to what exactly the new or ongoing initiatives entail.
Yeah, we definitely will flesh that out. I think, there's just, I guess two areas around equity. We have the 3.9 million that was allocated in the budget that we need to still decide how that will be spent. So the different leaders of the different departments are looking at options for that, and then we are gathering those up. So each of you that chair a committee, we should be looking at that probably in your committees and thinking about what makes the most sense. I suspect there will be, more requests for money with different equity projects than there might be funding for. So we'll have to take a look at, what are the top priorities. And the ask has been made to, there's a bit of a tendency, I think, among some to just, everything has an equity component to it that we do, but to really think about what is, sort of going to change our racial equity in the region, and what can we measure the impact, right? So something that is, for example, just good for everybody doesn't necessarily mean it actually has a component of improving equity if it is something that just helps everybody in the region and is good to do. Not that we shouldn't put it in the budget, but probably not for this 3.9 million. So as you're thinking about that with your committees and looking at those ideas and working with the leaders that report up to those committees, just be thinking about how we would use that. The one other bigger equity piece that I think we should talk about, not necessarily today, but have on our agenda is, I think our organization, the council, and most other organizations have a tendency to make equity the problem of the OEO office. And so, when we listen to business items that come through the Transportation Committee and other committees, people say, well, the OEO office didn't give us an objective or a goal for equity, so we didn't do anything on equity. And I think we should be, as an organization, be looking to the leadership team to really be advancing equity and taking ownership of those numbers. The OEO team, I think, in my opinion, is facilitating and providing some of the tools, but equity, the ownership of equity and changing how we buy and how we hire really comes from the leadership of the various departments, right? So SI doesn't have the budget to buy buses or the budget to, build a water treatment plant or buy any services that environmental services does. She's providing a list of people that are available, and based on data says what the goals, what would make sense for the goals to be. That doesn't limit our leadership people from overachieving those goals and taking it upon themselves to advance equity within their departments. And my sense is not only here, but at most organizations, we in Minnesota, we have a tendency to do the minimum, right? So if there's not an equity goal, it is rare that we hear from a department where they have a procurement, they go, OEO didn't give us an equity goal, but we went out and found a minority supplier and we used that supplier. So that would just be something I think would be good to be on our agenda, and understanding how each department is advancing equity and making different and better hiring decisions and buying decisions within their departments, and just look at those numbers and get a sense of where we're making great progress and where we're not, and when, if we're being successful in certain departments, what are they doing differently that's allowing them to be more successful, and how can we take that learning and use that in other parts of the organization. And so that would be one of those things that we probably, some of the pieces that we need are data, and so that's one of the uses, one of the requests that will come through from, I think it's procurement on, will be a request to be able to upgrade some of our systems so we can provide better data to people to be able to track what they're doing and where they're spending. Any other comments? Councilmember Barber.
Hi, thank you. So thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think another one that we should look at was as we developed the tribal relations policy, it came through the management committee, and that's also been in place for about 1.5 years. And I think that we've utilized it in some different forums, whether it was going on policy plans review, the process of official consultation. It might be a good idea to look at that again, to see again, now that it's been in place for just a little while, what's working, what's not working. We know we're going to have some upcoming tribal consultations relative to the Riverview corridor, so it would be good to make sure we kind of have that whole system in place the way we want it to.
Agreed. And then one other, and I don't know exactly how we'll fit this in over the course of the year, but I would just say from my own perspective in dealing with and engaging with our staff, there are some really creative things that people are doing in different parts of this organization that sort of fit under our management committee umbrella. And I think we should take some time to maybe identify some of those and have people give us some opportunity to present those back to our group, so that one is we give some acknowledgement of the creative work that's getting done, but then also make sure that everyone in the council, or at least on our committee, is aware of some of those projects. And so just I just think we'll have that intermittently throughout the year, but just finding ways to make sure that we are highlighting that creativity and that thought leadership amongst our team. Anything else that we should add? Councilmember Barber.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to respond to your comment. I think that's a really good idea. The first year that you guys were on council, there was a lot of the presentations and information items were background things, educational items, and then we went into this virtual meeting mode. And it would be good now because that had been, I think, done historically, where we learned about programs like, even our our bus mechanic training program. Some of these sorts of things that were great things that were in programs in place at council, but it gave them a new highlight, and it's a good chance to kind of inform not just us, but even the public some of the creative things that we're doing. So I think a return to that would be very good.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Musa. I would also like to, add to your point that it's important that we, highlight those success stories for the purpose of so other areas or maybe other departments who are not doing as maybe as well can learn from it and can duplicate those success stories so we can really focus and help each other internally and because we live really in a very critical time and it's good to have some inspiring stories so that others can follow.
Okay. Anything else we should add to the plan? And if there are things that come up throughout the year, just definitely email me and we can. This is not a plan that cannot be amended or changed. It's just to give people a sense of how we see the year rolling out. So, okay.
Great.
With that, is there
Thank you.
somebody? Thank you. All right. Is there a motion, Councilmember Barber?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to close this meeting under Section 13D.03, Subdivision 1 of the Minnesota statutes so we can consider a labor development and negotiation related to labor strategies.
Lilligren seconds.
And just one, I guess, amendment to that. We will not be coming back into session afterwards, right? So at the end of, we will not have any other business. So we will, at the end of that conversation, we will adjourn the meeting. Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. Can we call the roll, please?
Barber,
Aye.
Gonzalez, Gonzalez, Lee,
Aye.
Lilligren,
Aye.
Musse,
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Thank you.
So with that, the meeting is closed.